Hey Simon, wanted to sort of point out, walk you through sort of more key trades or just sort of trade setups and decisions in my process to sort of help me better understand my thinking, my process, and more importantly, my psychology, my decision making, my you know my chart analysis and all that. So um, here on the hourly, and wanted to just show you this trade that I took and sort of how it played out. Well, on the hourly, this is the last day of August. This is the last trade of the month. The markets have been pretty dynamic, as you can see. We've had a lot of chop, and of late, the market has really started to take this sort of much more of an upward trend, with big displacements in the fair value gap. As of the Tuesday session, and into the Wednesday session, it's sort of settled in. But I'm anticipating, with a lot of the sort of trend dynamics, and sort of sitting at the near term, what I'll call points of interest and sort of new highs. My expectations are high about price continuing up. We're on the upper end of the weekly high. Here's a weekly low. I love the way the range is playing out, and my proximity to points of interest, new highs, and liquidity pools is notable. And so I feel like coming into this, my psychology is that we're going to see some movement here. So just jumping down to the 5 minute, and let me just reset the chart levels here. Pre-market, fairly significant movement downside, trend pre-market reversing up into the northeast corner of the pre-market range. And this tells me a couple of things. It tells me price is likely to continue higher, but also tells me that there is a fair amount of inefficiency that has yet to be worked through, and that will likely happen, especially as you exit the pre-market range, forming a fair value gap, and then you see sort of this choppy behavior here. It just tells me it's going to be a somewhat dynamic open for this period. We've got a little bit of news, but that doesn't really play into the day's activities all that much, although I'm cognizant of it. And again, maybe under normal circumstances, I wouldn't even take a trade today. But let's see how it plays out and how I read the tape. So opening, nothing too dramatic here. I'm waiting for price to get to a level. Oops, let me just speed that up a little bit. I'm waiting for price to get to a level, and then I'm waiting for displacement, fair value gap, all that good stuff. So it's going sideways. We've got the open, nothing. So now we've got a pretty big displacement candle to the upside. Prices sort of cleared out the inefficiency around this fair value gap. So that's good news. Although just in my experience, this range, this open space here, right here, still needs to be cleared out. And it's just sort of the way. I don't know what sort of governs that decision other than in the experience of some of these charts as I've been sort of trading. Price likes to clear out these inefficiencies, these pre-market inefficiencies. I know that in here also we will have the effects of the dealing range. And so as you come out of here, you see this is a long position here, the first 3-bar high, and we've got our first 3-bar low, so we're definitely within the range. But I still think that price will need to clear out these inefficiencies throughout here before it goes higher. So let's see how it plays out. So I'm not taking a long position until I see a pullback clearing out some level of these inefficiencies. So boom, and there we go. There's the downward pull. Now this is a big rejection candle. At this point, I could say, yeah, let's enter. We've got it's not, there's no fair value gap created, and I wouldn't necessarily call this displacement, but I would call this a big rejection move, which could signal at this point price going higher. But knowing the NASDAQ the way I do, it's never quite what you think, and I always give it one more tick to see what happens. And there we see a more convincing downward candle, which suggests that price is really still looking to clear out this level of inefficiency here. Just take it down. Oh, now price reverses. And at this point, I'm feeling a little bit more comfortable that a long trade is now appropriate. We've got big displacement, likely form a fair value gap. On the next candle up, I'm feeling like liquidity, at least this large candle here, has cleared out some of this inefficiency. There could be more coming, but right now I'm going to put my confidence in this big up candle and with a continued move up. So at this point, I'm going to go long. But I also know that I usually get faked out by these candles. And so I'm going to enter at a much more rational, I may miss the trade, but I'm going to enter right at the bottom, right at the midpoint of what's remaining to be left. Let's just clear this out. So if you look at, and I don't know whether this is a technique or not, but this is kind of how I think about it. Oops. I'm going to take the rest of this remains to be cleared out. Basically from about the end of this point here to the remainder of the block here, and I'm going to take 50% of that. So I'm going to enter right here. So I'm going to go long right here. Let's make sure I'm below the trading range, and I'm going to go 2.0 off that, so I got room to play. So I expect price to, off of this displacement, come back and then with a strong upside move to a long. 2%. Oops, and this will be a big limit order. And so that's the setup here. I know I've got conviction. I'm 98% convinced you're going to see a long trend price action, bullish price action out of the pre-market. However, before it does that, it will clear out more inefficiency. It started to right here, but I view this sort of as fake outs. And again, it's sort of a fake breakout. Candle here, big strong candle. Yep, place my short here, my stop here, place my long maybe somewhere in here, and off to the races. That's what I would love for you to believe. But let's see what happens. I'm speculating still at this point. Yep, tapped in, and price recovers. And let's see here. Yep, I can take off. I'm going to take a partial here, 75%. Leave that. I'm going to go to break even. And I'll just let her run. I don't care. I don't care what happens after this. And come on, come on. It's gone through rebalancing. Back on the way up, I got a little bit of time. I've got to shut it off at 4 o'clock. About there. If it doesn't reach it at that point, I've got to shut the trade down. I've already made $3,000. If I were smart, I would take the trade at this way, shut it down. But I like the way it's heading right now, so I don't want to quite give up on it just yet. That's it. Okay. Good enough. Nice trade. Nicely read. I don't really care that much about the profit per se. But I guess what I wanted to more articulate was my tape read, and the fact that in a prior life, I would have taken the long right here. I would have felt really, really good. It clearly would have been stopped out right there. And then I would have watched it run up. And instead, I stuck with my experience and my tape read experience and sort of my emerging acuity around how the NASDAQ sort of plays. It's almost never what it seems. You've got to be one step ahead of it as much as you can. I've been burned so many times by these nice juicy candles that pop up like this, knowing what price is going to do. Everybody knows that the price is going to try to head to those levels, and it's just a matter of how you get there. And what price usually does, it tries to clear you out, gets you all excited, clears you out, and then goes where it wants to go. The good traders know not to get sucked in by this. Wait, be patient, stick to your convictions. Price always wants to clear out these inefficiencies, especially if the pre-market's heading northeast, is on an upward trajectory. It is going to clear out the rest of this box here. I've seen it 100 times. And yeah, so that's a great trade. I think we made 15 grand, 12 grand on that trade, risking 2%. And it's just, exactly the kind of thing I want to do. I'm sure I've made mistakes. I'm sure I've missed some things. I'm sure there are things I could have done better, just in terms of my analysis, but wanted you to get a better feel for how I think about things. Super helpful for me. Hopefully it was helpful for you. So anyway, talk to you soon, and thanks for reviewing this.